Shelters went up in flames in Chico earlier today at the city-run shelter near Martin Luther King Parkway. So take a look at this video. 2 shelters were destroyed, a third was damaged. Now this happened just after 3 this morning. Officials say no one was injured. There was a man inside one of the shelters, but he escaped. Neighbors rescued a dog inside the unit that first caught fire. We're still waiting to learn how that fire started, but it does have some people concerned for safety within the low barrier shelter.
And Action News Now reporter Sade Pullen is live nearby. So Sade, will this change anything when it comes to rules at the shelter?
Yes, I asked Amber Bass, the executive director of the Pallet Shelter, if this fire will prompt any new rules at the shelter, and she says right now it's too soon to tell. An early morning fire at the Chico's Pallet Shelter caused a major scare. Chico City firefighters raced up to the scene and stopped the flames from spreading to more than 4 shelters. They say fortunately no one was hurt, and a dog left inside the shelter where it started was also safely evacuated. Executive director of the Jesus Center, which manages the site, Amber Bass, tells me that she's working with the fire department so they can go through surveillance to find out what could have caused the fire. I questioned city leaders about how much oversight there is regarding safety at this site. Councilmember Addison Winlow tells me that if the Warren Agreement is overturned, that the city has already made it clear that they want to have more rules and regulations to govern the Pallet Shelter. There is a closed meeting happening tomorrow where they will likely discuss the Warren case.
We're not really deep into any kind of discussion about how we would want to change the rules, but I think there are some things that could be improved there. But at the same time, the purpose of the Pallet Shelter is to make sure that people have a place to go and are not scattered across town camping places. And I think that any infringement on the low barrier aspect of that is going to compromise that goal. So I'm maintaining that the Pallet Shelter should remain low barrier.
But Councilman Addison Winslow tells me that he has other concerns and other adjustments that he would like to see at the Pallet Shelter.
And this is something that we have been limited under the settlement agreement to make sure that case management is a part of being there, that you do talk to somebody about what resources can you get a hold of, how can you progress into another shelter option or temporary supportive housing, ultimately being housed and working or on a fixed income. But
now, as for the fire today at the Pallet Shelter, the cause of the fire is still unknown and is under investigation. But some people who live here tell me that they believe that the fire could have possibly started from someone having too many items in their one unit. Now, executive director of the Pallet Shelter, Amber Bass, tells me that there is a limit on how many things people can have in their unit at a time. She says this is necessary to avoid any blockage from exit and to avoid having any hazardous items to safety or to people's safety. Live in Chico, I'm Sade Pullen with Action News Now.
Thank you, Sade. Abney Bass also says they do weekly inspections for the first 6 weeks when somebody moves in. And for those who pass those inspections, they check units monthly. There is a special closed meeting tomorrow, August 5th at 5 p.m. for City Council, where the city will likely discuss the Warren case and the offer it made to Legal Services of Northern California.